Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us here at the Homeschooling on the Homestead podcast. I'm joined here with my daughter, Riley.
Hello.
And we are excited to bring you interviews with moms that are homesteading. So each week we will be meeting with another family. I will be interviewing the mom.
And I'll be interviewing the kid.
And we're going to find out what's going on the homeschooling, homesteading fronts. So today's episode, we are giving it a trial run to give you kind of a sample of what it's going to be like. Riley will interview me, and then I will interview her with just a handful of questions so you can get a feel for what it's like to homeschool on the homestead. So quick shout out to our sponsored Deeply Rooted Learning Center.
Got these amazing shirts from there.
So head on over to the Etsy shop and get yourself a homeschooling and homesteading t-shirt, as well as other products. Thank you, Deeply Rooted, for sponsoring us. All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's get started.
Get started.
So I have a question for you, Mom. Did you start homeschooling first or did you start homesteading first?
Good question. So I have always loved baking, and then I had my children. I was a public school teacher for 10 years total. In the last couple of years, it was just becoming too much for me. I was not enjoying it. I actually was coming more into a relationship with the Lord. So I was sitting down reading the Bible for the first time in my life. And I really missed you when I left teaching. So I still had Lily and Hunter home with me, but you were off at kindergarten. And by the end of the day, you were just exhausted. And I didn't enjoy you at that point because you were miserable from the long day. So when I pulled you out of school and had you home, the homestead blew up. So before that, we had chickens, but I wouldn't say that we had a homestead. We had a small garden and chickens. And the reason we did the chickens is because I just thought it would be cool. I thought it'd be cool for you to have that experience of seeing the baby chicks turn into chickens, to lay the eggs, and that whole life cycle and bringing science to life. And then once you came home, gosh, you and Lily were like, we want sheep, we want ducks, we want more apple trees, we want more of this. So I said, okay, let's do it. And now we have this bigger homestead. So what came first? I think they kind of just came together, but definitely more homestead after homeschooling.
Yeah, that's really cool. What really stood out to me, 10 years of teaching, and now you're still teaching us. You're meant to teach.
I was meant to teach.
And I love that we have all these animals. So thanks for letting us do that. And that's really nice. Anyways, what benefited us in our family? Like, what have you seen that's benefited us a lot?
There is so many benefits to homeschooling. I've been able to spend more time with you. I've learned so much. I never knew half the things I know about all the animals that we have, the trees, and the plants and all of these things. So I've learned a lot. That's a benefit. Most definitely the biggest benefit, though, is spending time with my children. I cannot believe that you were 10 years old doing a podcast with me. This is wild. So we've been able to have these really great experiences as mother-daughter, as well as your father being a fisherman. His schedule is the opposite of a traditional school. So if he's home all winter, you were out at school. And then when he's fishing all summer, you were home. So I know your father loves that we homeschool because he gets to spend more time with you. So that's been a huge benefit for our family.
Yeah, that's really, I like spending time with him too. It's really fun. So yeah, that's really cool. And what challenges have you faced? Like, I'm sure we've hit some bumpy roads, but like, what challenges?
Some days are really, really long, especially when Daddy is out fishing. I have you guys all to myself all day, every day. So that becomes challenging, but I am blessed with Gigi, your grandparents, both sets, to help me out. That's probably the hardest, but you and your sister and brother have been so helpful in keeping the house tidy and cooking and all helping me with your education. You guys bring a lot of the ideas of what we're going to be learning about. You help on the homestead. So that helps with those challenges. If you didn't help me out, that would make it very stressful and gosh, maybe impossible to homeschool. So I think it's really important. And I love that you're learning these skills so you can take them with you when you have your own homestead, maybe.
Yeah, that's great. I didn't realize that helping you so much, but I love helping you, Mom. And that's really nice of you to say that. And what memories have we made? I feel like we've made so many memories. What's your favorite memory we've made?
My favorite memory. There's so many. You're right. There's so many. I would say my most memorable ones, though, are when we're in nature. I remember one day in particular, and actually it's my screensaver now. I was having this day that it was just so stressful. Like everything was just crazy, and I wanted control, I wanted order, and it was not coming. And lessons were not getting done, and it was just chaotic. So I said, that's it. I put my hands up and I said, let's go outside for a nature walk. And we have a trail that we created back during COVID.
Yeah.
So we got on that trail and a tree had fallen down. And I was just like, Lord, I give this day to you. And we just walked the trail and that tree down. You guys climbed on that tree 30 minutes, just climbing in and out of the tree, swinging on it, and just having a blast. And I was just thinking to myself, this is what it's about. We need to surrender our hard things to the Lord, and we need to just enjoy the fact that we get to spend time with each other. And it's not all about the lessons. And that became a good lesson in itself, to surrender and just enjoy God's creation. When we're in the house, sometimes it becomes overwhelming. So being outside is just so comforting. So that probably is one of my fondest memories. But we have so many, don't we?
Yeah, we have so many. Yeah, I remember that day. That was a really good day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
was a
that's
good
really
day.
special day.
That was. All right, I want to ask you some questions.
What?
All right, so what are your thoughts about homeschooling on the homestead?
I really enjoy it. I like being home with my siblings, and I love like when you're doing lessons with them. I like to just like go outside, maybe wrestle the dogs, maybe go see the sheep. I like just like reading and then maybe looking out the window, seeing the sheep, especially when I'm reading my books about them. I just like to go like compare them from book to life.
Very cool.
Yeah, I enjoy
Yay
it.
for mommy.
Yeah.
I like that answer. So is that your favorite part of homeschooling on the homestead, is just having the animals, or is there something else that really makes it enjoyable to be home?
Oh yeah, many things. I love that we do such short lessons. Like our limit's usually like 4 hours. We usually do about 3. And I love that like if you're reading with them, I can go bake a cake. Like I feel like
Yeah.
I've done that so many times.
Yeah, you have.
And, yeah, it's very fun. And there's just so many great memories that we have together, and we get to spend so much more time together than I would if I was still in school.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really
You
special.
miss on that. Is there anything you don't like about homeschooling on the homestead?
I mean, yes, there's hard days, and I love homeschooling so much. This is a hard question.
What about, I know a lot of people always talk about friends and not having friends around when we're homeschooling. Does that ever affect you?
Yeah, I feel like if I were like you and Daddy have gone to school, and I feel like you guys know everyone.
Yeah. We live in a small town.
But we do. So if you really think about it, we have such a great community here. There's so many people, and if you think about it, I'm kind of being a little bit picky with my friend choices. So yeah, but it's such a great community. I think
When you talk about the community, explain to our listeners here, are you talking about deeply rooted, that community, or are you talking about just Cape May County as a whole?
Yeah, I'm trying to talk about like deeply rooted has such a great community, but like I feel like the animals. I mean, I feel like that kind of like puts you out there. Like you have animals. Like these days, a lot of people have like maybe a dog, maybe a cat, and I feel like if you really talk about that, like that gives you something. That's a conversation starter right there. So I feel like that can gain you a little bit of friends. But it's very fun to just like go out there, and they're my friends. They're maiden friends right there.
The animals are your friends too.
Yeah.
So you don't find an issue. You have good friends at deeply
Yeah, I
rooted.
love friends.
So it is important for us to have a homeschool community as well, as so we're not just isolated here on the homestead. Yeah, I think that's important too. Very good, right? Do you have a favorite memory?
Yes, I do. My favorite memory is probably the day we got the sheep. That was a really special day. when we got our first 2 girls, we had to bottle feed them, and that was a really fun memory. Having to just hold them and bottle feed them, that was really special. That was probably one of my favorite memories here on the homestead.
Oh, this is awesome. Well, I like homeschooling and I love having the homestead. So thank you, Riley, for joining me today.
You're welcome.
And I look forward to speaking to some other moms that are homeschooling and homesteading. If that is you and you would like to talk to Riley and I and share your experience, bring your children along and we will set up an interview with you. So thanks so much and have a great day on your homestead.
Yeah.